What's going on, fellow fixers? My name is Jeremy, and if you like learning how to fix things, then this is the channel for you. Subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so the other day I was down underneath the sink, the kitchen sink in my cabinet, and I noticed that there was damage to the bottom of the cabinet. Can only mean one thing: there's a leak somewhere in it. Garbage disposal has a tiny little crack in the side, and it's been leaking down into the cabinet and damaging it. Not a terrible amount of water, but enough to cause some damage. So today I'm going to bring you along. I'm going to show you how to replace your own garbage disposal. I'm going to show you the whole process, how to take it out, how to swap out the drain, everything. So come along, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the replacement that I got. It's a Badger brand, because that is the version that I already had. Alright, so I was in here the other day and I noticed the damage to the bottom of the cabinet. And you can see here, pulling something out, and I just noticed how this was bubbled. And what I figured out is right here, garbage disposal is leaking. It's not leaking a lot, but you can see there just enough to slowly drip over time and cause problems. All right, now this new disposal comes with the whole top part. Normally, I would actually not replace this because there's nothing wrong with my existing one, but for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to replace this whole piece. Dishwasher goes up here, and your drain goes right here. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and disconnect this dishwasher drain line. Just got one of these clamps. Put that out to the side. And then I'm going to go ahead and just loosen this drain pipe up. And now to remove these, essentially this sort of just twists on. And if I show you this part here, this is what's actually up in there. And you can see these are sort of tapered. And so that disposal sits on there and then twists. And when it twists, it sort of tightens it up and seals it. To take that out, we can either use a screwdriver, or most disposals come with one of these, which is a way to sort of free up the disposal if you have a clog. Sticks on the bottom and you can loosen it up. But it also works really well to take this off, and you just push this up in here. And then this whole piece will come straight out. Now this disposal is plugged into the wall. It's actually just a switched outlet in the back there. Just a regular plug-in. It's just hooked to a switch up on top of the counter. Alright, so basically what we're going to have to do is just go ahead and take this piece off here. And then we're going to also have to remove the power outlet there on the bottom and move it to the new one. Alright, again, pretty straightforward. Remove these two screws. Part will come right off. Now if you look on the bottom here, there's basically a Phillips head screw that I have to take out right here. And that will give me access to where the wires are. And I can just disconnect these. And the last piece is just getting this ground wire off. There you go. The old one is now disconnected. Alright, now the new one comes with a replacement washer, a new wrench, and 2 new screws. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one off of the old pipe, because I'm going to reuse this pipe. And I pull that off, and I can go ahead and slide the new one on. Slide this piece on. There you go, now we're ready. Alright, so I just went ahead and put the new one on. I really should have a wire nut right here to hold this electrical cord in. but I don't have one, and I'm not going to the store to get one. So I'm just going to wire it in like it was before. When you're wrapping your ground wires around, this is for any electrical appliance, make sure that you wrap them in the direction that you're going to be tightening down your wire. Otherwise, it's liable to come unwrapped. All right, now like I said, I could just go ahead and screw this back up on there, but to help you all out, I'm going to show you how to actually replace this part out of the sink as well. And it's pretty straightforward. And you're basically just going to go ahead and take these screws off. You actually don't even have to take them all the way off. You just have to loosen them up. And you'll notice here there's a little metal ring here, which is really the hardest part about this whole thing. You have to get this little metal ring out. See if I can get it. Just so that you can get, once you sort of get it past, this whole thing pops off. And now you can take this out. All right, same idea. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this screw over here is actually bent a little bit. All right, now that I can see this part, I'm just going to go ahead and pop that off. You should let this come down and this come down. There we go. All right, now you just want to make sure you clean this part up really good, get that old putty off of there so that the new drain will make a nice good seal. Now before you get too far ahead of yourself, almost screwed up, you want to make sure that you have some of this plumber's putty. You basically just work it sort of like clay or modeling clay, but you're basically gonna form it into a ring and put it on the bottom of the new drain, because that's actually what seals the two metals together to make sure that you don't have any leaks. Basically, just like the old days playing with silly putty or whatever, you're going to form it into a ring. And once you get it into a ring, just go ahead and put it on the bottom. And then you can see what's going to happen is as I tighten that bottom screw up, it's going to squeeze all that excess out. So now when we put it on, we want to make sure that we put this little cardboard ring on first, then this piece and this piece. And you notice that I unscrewed these screws quite a bit so that I have room to work. Now when I slide this up like this, the hard part is getting this ring to seat. That's sometimes the easiest thing to do. Have somebody push down on it so that you can push up and get your ring on there. There we go. All we're going to do is just tighten up these screws, and you can tell what that's going to do. That's just going to pull it apart, which is going to create a nice seal. Sort of do this evenly. Alright, and you'll notice as I tighten this up, putty is going to squeeze out of the sides. You can just peel this off. Now you get a nice solid seal. Alright, so don't forget to put threaded piece in this washer on. This is what's going to give you a nice tight seal, and make sure that whenever you put this on, that the flat part goes towards the disposal and the curved part goes towards the drain. And on this side, we're just going to go ahead and tighten that up. While we're in here, we'll make sure all these other connections are tightened as well. The last thing to do is to go ahead and take our dishwasher drain hose. Let me interject here for just a second. The day after I filmed this video, I ran the dishwasher at the house and had problems. The dishwasher wouldn't come on, and then when it finally did run, it ended up leaking. Forgot one critical step, and I wanted to make sure that I told you about that. Remember when I was talking about this drain hole right here for the dishwasher? By default, it's plugged. There's actually a little plastic piece in here that is plugged up. And the reason that they do that is so that if you don't have a dishwasher, you obviously don't have leaks. Water doesn't flow out of there. So you want to make sure that before you put that hose on, if you have a dishwasher, you take a screwdriver and a hammer and just knock that plug out. You basically just stick your screwdriver down in here and pound on it with the hammer. A little plastic piece will pop out into here. And once it pops out, you just go ahead and empty it out, dump it out before you install everything else. So definitely important piece to this, and it just went right over my head. I didn't even think about it when I was doing the install, but don't let that mistake happen to you. Go ahead and pop that plug out so your dishwasher drains just fine. All right, let's get back to it. Now, if all went well, should be able to turn that on. And we just want to make sure that we don't have any leaks. Everything's dry up here. You want to check this part right here. Make sure everything's dry there. Make sure everything is dry right here. All the other connections. And of course, let's go ahead and run it. And you'll sometimes see some more of this putty squeeze out, and that's all right. Just over the next day or so, pull out that extra and make sure that it's not leaking underneath. All right, so there you have it. Pretty straightforward if you need to replace a garbage disposal. This happens to be a Badger brand, half horsepower, I believe is what this one is. But they're all pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do if you need to. If you haven't seen this video, go check that one out. I'll see you over there. And as always, get out there and fix something. I'll see you on the next video.